Welcome, everyone. We are at the Abhidhamma study, part 2 of the introduction class. We are joined by Venerable Paññādhikālaṅkāra. Bande, you're here. And so these are the agendas that we have for today. And Bande, we would like you to start the class with the Namo Tassa. So I'm going to over to the next slide right now, Bande, to show Namo Tassa. Bande, we would like to recite this together with you, Bande.
Okay, let's start to recite Namo Tassa together. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato
Arahato
Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa.
Welcome, everyone. These are the agendas items that we have. So first, I would like Bande to take us over to lecture, Introduction to Abhidhamma Study 2. And then after that, we will go over the question and answer. And then we will end with sharing merits, aspiration, and then we will close with Metta. Bande, you may start now.
Okay. So welcome everyone to Abhidhamma study. Last week, I had introduced about the history according to the Theravada tradition, and the history and the authorship of Abhidhamma. So who taught Abhidhamma? And according to Theravada tradition, the Buddha himself taught Abhidhamma, and also where Abhidhamma was taught in Tawadesa, the second lowest Deva realm, second Deva realms, ruled by the Saka. Then the Venerable Sariputta, who was the distributor of Abhidhamma, after learning from the Buddha, and he taught Abhidhamma to his 500 bhikkhu disciple. So in today's lesson, as an introduction of Abhidhamma, and I'm going to talk about the contents in Abhidhamma teaching. What are the contents in Abhidhamma teaching? So roughly, we can say the two truths. The first one, the conventional truth, which is translated as the truth in conventional sense. It's not in the ultimate sense, but still it is true in the conventional sense. For example, if we say the building as a house, this is house. It is true in the conventional sense as long as we keep the materials in their position of house. And if we uninstall or remove the part of the house from their place, and there's no more house. So the pillar, wall, and brick, cement, if we remove everything in material in the house, there's no more house. That's why what we say the house is true only in the conventional sense. And the second one is the ultimate truth. Ultimate truth is truth according to the ultimate things. That is why, unlike the conventional things, it cannot change. It will not change according to the times, according to the condition, because they are truths in ultimate things. So, for example, the loba, we say loba, you may already heard about that. A loba, usually translated as the greed. So greed have the nature of wishing to get something like this. So when it arises in the process of animals, it works that animal to want something like this. And also when it arises in the process of human, that makes human to want something. The same way, even if it arises in the and Brahma, that's the same. And the nature never changes because it is true in the ultimate sense. So now we can understand there are two truths. And also they are mentioned in the Abhidhamma because the conventional truth is called the Paññādhikālaṅkāra, and the ultimate truths are called the ultimate reality. So here, the conventional truth is not really existing in the ultimate sense, but it can be true, still true, as I said. So for the beings also, we say the human beings. But if we take out the flesh, snow, and skin, etc. So in the meditation, it is the 32 parts of the body. So if we divide 32 parts of the body, made in their different group or put into the different container, and there's no more human beings. So you can consider in this way, when you are meditating on the 32 parts of the body and putting the head hair somewhere and putting the body hair somewhere and putting the nail and teeth. So in this way, if you divide it into 32 parts, after dividing, you cannot find any living beings. Where is living being? I thought that always, because that beings exist only in the conventional sense. Being does not exist in the ultimate sense. This is the conventional truth. So you can apply this method into the different things and beings. Also, they will disappear after dividing into different parts. And second one, ultimate things. So this is approved by the characteristics. It is all characteristic and function, the specific function they perform when they arise. And also this is called the manifestation. So the manifestation is how they appear in the meditator's mind when they are observed by the meditative mind. So the ultimate reality has this specific manifestation and the proximate cause. Usually, most of the ultimate reality have the proximate cause, but still some are missing about the proximate cause. Okay, it doesn't matter. And we can approve the ultimate reality, or we can test whether it is the ultimate reality or not by searching their characteristic. In Pali, it is called the lakkhana, characteristic lakkhana. And second one, function, which is called the kicca or rasa. It is called the rasa, lakkhana, characteristic, and rasa, function. and manifestation, Paccupatthana. In Pali, it is called a Paccupatthana. And the proximate cause, the nearest cause, because the ultimate reality has a different condition, different cause if we count everything. But here in this case, we can count the proximate cause, for example, to arise the wholesome, the wise reflection or proper attitude, which is called yoniso manasikara in Pali, is the proximate cause. If a person have the yoniso manasikara, the wholesome arise, kusala arise. And if a person have the ayoniso manasikara, improper attention or unwise reflection, at that time, unwholesome akusala arise. That is why we can point out the proximate cause of wholesome is wise reflection, and also a proximate cause of unwholesome is ayoniso manasikara. In this way, we can find the respective proximate causes for ultimate reality. Okay, so let's talk about the ultimate truth, which is called the ultimate realities. There are two types of truth here, conventional, but for conventional, we don't need to classify a lot. And later, we will introduce the different types of the concept under the classification of the conventional truth, different types of concepts. It mentioned in the chapter 8 of Abhidhamma. And here, the classification starts from the ultimate truth. So the ultimate truth or ultimate reality are divided into four according to their nature. So the first class, Citta, consciousness. Second one, Cittasika, 52 Cittasika, and Rupa, 28 Rupa, and Nibbana. So these all four categories are called ultimate reality. So we can say there are four types of ultimate realities. And we say the Paramattha, the word Paramattha, the Paramattha, ultimate truth, or the absolute things. So only we can find the four classes of consciousness, Citta, Manifesta, Cittasika, or Rupa, materiality, or Nibbana. So there's no permanent entirety, or in some religion, they are called the ego. So permanent entities. So that entirety existing all the time and everlasting. So never changes, actually, according to their concept. But actually, if we find out the ultimate truth, because only the ultimate truth exists in the ultimate things. That is why when we refer to the truth, and we have to find out the ultimate truth. So among the four types of ultimate truth or ultimate reality, we cannot find permanent entities or ego. We can find only ever-changing process of conditionally arising and passing away of phenomena. So mental phenomena, material phenomena. They arise due to the condition, then pass away all the time. So according to Abhidhamma teaching, we can find the only ever-changing process, mentality and materiality. There is no everlasting entirety. Those are called ego in other religion. So by studying Abhidhamma, and we can clarify misunderstanding about the existence of the permanent entities or ego. So some may think the powerful beings like a god or Brahma, they have the everlasting or permanent entirety to keep their power. this is misunderstanding according to Theravada Buddhist tradition. There's no permanent entirety even in the powerful beings. Their power also produced by the condition. That is why their power, including by themselves, are under the process of conditional phenomena, mentalities and materialities. So this is the Abhidhamma. That's why we can see the contents in Abhidhamma, the ultimate truth, for ultimate truth and conventional truth. Then, so let's make sure to understand what is Abhidhamma. So here at top, the meanings or the contents. So contents or topics in the Abhidhamma, taught in the Abhidhamma are called Abhidhamma. Yeah, Abhidhamma plus Atta, Abhidhamma. So there are 5 topics expounded in the Abhidhamma text by the Buddha. So they are Citta, translated as consciousness. We will use the translation of consciousness for Citta, the first ultimate reality, other than using mind. So in common sense, in daily life, we use my mind or your mind or something like this. But actually, in order to get the precise meaning, here we will use, we will classify the mind, we call it in common sense, into 2, Citta and Cittasika. So Citta will be translated as consciousness, and Cittasika will be translated as mental fetters or mental states or mental concomitants. So we have to understand first, the mind in daily life or common usage we use is the collectivity of the Citta and Cittasika in Abhidhamma. Okay, then Rupa, matter. Nibbana, so Nibbana is state free from attachment, but actually better to use in its original name, Nibbana. Because sometimes it is a little bit strange to translate and to keep the one type of translation for Nibbana. That's why better to use the original name. Then the last one, Paññādhi, this is concept. So it is just a truth in the conventional truth, not in the ultimate truth. So if we say the Paramattha, the ultimate or absolute truth, only 4. So Paññādhi become exception. So Paññādhi is not Paramattha, but still Abhidhamma, because it is taught in the Abhidhamma teaching. So Paññādhi, including Paññādhi, there are 5 Abhidhamma or topics or meaning expounded in Abhidhamma teaching. So here, Puggala Paññādhi, the books of Puggala Paññādhi cover the 5th Abhidhamma, Paññādhi concept. So if we say the Paramattha, the ultimate truth or ultimate reality, only form of 4 types can be included: consciousness, mental fetters, matters, and Nibbana. So now you understand clearly Abhidhamma 5 and Paramattha 4. So no confusion. Then, so let's classify the 2 types of truth into reality. So here, the first truth or Sammuti Satya, the conventional truth, under this, the names. So you call the beings of house. The name are called the Paññādhi. And for the second truth, Brahmata Satya, ultimate truth, there are 4 ultimate reality: consciousness, mental fetters, matter, Nibbana. So if we further classify them into another types, we can classify the mentalities and materialities. So mentality include the consciousness and mental fetters for the conditional realities. And if we count the unconditional mentalities, Nibbana also in the mentalities. So you can say consciousness, mental fetters, and Nibbana are mentalities. But here we will talk about the by name of the aggregate. That is why Nibbana become exception, not included Nibbana, because Nibbana is not under the classification of aggregates. So if we classify according to the mentality as materiality of aggregates, so consciousness and mental fetters are regarded as the aggregate of mentalities. And the third ultimate realities of matters are called aggregates of materiality. Nibbana is not included under the classification of aggregate khanda. Then, so two group of mental aggregates and material aggregate become the panchakhanda. In the Sutta, you see the many times the panchakhanda, 5 aggregates. And those 5 aggregates are called the sankhata dhatu, the conditional reality. They have the specific condition to arise. That is why they are called the conditional reality. And Nibbana is called unconditional reality. So in this way, we can understand the Brahmata and ultimate reality. So if we continue to talk about the Brahmata, ultimate reality, being the ultimate reality, it's free from the bias or partiality. So it's the essence, Brahmata never changed to another Brahmata. So the ultimate reality never changed to another ultimate reality. For example, lobha, when the lobha, greed arises in the process, just arise in its own nature and disappear. It does not change to anger. So you may think someone at the beginning, he develops the lobha, greedy mind, and not getting what he gets, then change to the dosa. Actually, that is in the process. After the arising of greed and the greedy mind, then the angry mind arise. This is in the process. It is not changing the mind into different types. That is why this is the nature of Brahmata. We can say that is free from bias and partiality, never change to the another Brahmata. And that is called the absolute truth. Because it is absolute truth, it arises in its nature and disappear. Okay, so the Brahmata already finished here. There are 4 kinds of realities. So the consciousness or citta, the basis characteristic is the awareness of an object. So the first ultimate reality, just its nature, according to its nature, when it arises, it just makes the awareness of an object, not classifying into this or that or like or unlike. It's just aware. This is the nature of the consciousness. The mental fetters have the different natures, 52 natures, mental fetters, because the 52 mental fetters have their respective nature. That's why 52 nature. The materialities and Nibbana. And here in this slide, we can classify another way, the ultimate reality. So we say the matter is clear that materiality, that ultimate reality referring to that. And for we say that nama, so nama, conditional nama, the combination of consciousness and mental fetters. Then Nibbana, absolution. But if we talk nama and rupa only, and Nibbana is under their classification of Nama. Okay, this is the Brahmata. So let's talk how the Brahmatas arise. So they arise in the groove. The groove is called the Kaya. In the other hand, it is translated as the body. So when they arise, mentalities or materiality, both of them, they arise in the group, not arise as a single entirety or single realities. They always arise in the group. That's why the Buddha, when he discourses Sutta teaching, he used the usage of the khandha to let the listener, the audience, easily know about their arising. So Rupa Khandha, Vedana Khandha, etc. The khandha, the word khandha is used. Okay, so when they arise in the group, we understand their smallest group. The smallest group of materialities consist of the 8 phenomena. 8 phenomena. They never arise in the 7 or 6 or less than that. Never arise in that way. When they arise, the smallest one consists of 8 phenomena of materiality. Okay, let's see here. This one, the earth elements, which is called Patavi Dhatu. And the wind element, Vayo Dhatu. And water element, Abho Dhatu. And fire element, Tejo Dhatu. These are 4 elements. So 4 elements are the basis of the material group. They always arise. And also color and odor. The color is something we can see by our physical eye. That is color. So every group consisting of the color and by can see, and odor, smell, and flavor and taste, or the nutritive essence. This is called a kind of their materiality. So altogether, the smallest group, even the smallest group, consists of 8 phenomena. But we can still classify them according to their intrinsic nature. So the earth element has its own intrinsic nature, its own characteristic. It does not mix with the fire element, because fire element also have its own intrinsic nature, characteristic. So in this way, not mixing together in intrinsic nature, but they arise in the group. This is the smaller group of materialities. So in the same way, the smallest group of mentality also consists of the 8 phenomena of the consciousness and context. Context is called the Tassa, and feeling is called, which is called Vedana in Pali, and perception, which is called Sanya, and volition, Tirana, and one-pointedness, Ekagata, life faculties, Jivitendriya, attention, Nasikara. So the others 7, except the consciousness, are mental factors. So we can understand with the 7 mental factors, the smaller group of mentalities consist 8 phenomena. So materialities also, the smallest one, consist of 8 phenomena. Mentalities also consist of 8 phenomena. So we say that consciousness arises, but consciousness never arises as a single ultimate reality. It always arises together with the other realities of mental factors, 7. That's why whenever consciousness arises, the other 7 always accompany. So they are called the universal manifestors. Here you can notice the universal manifestors. So later in the 2nd chapter of Abhidhamma, also we will talk about the manifestors. So now you understand that consciousness and manifesta always arise together in the group. So this group, we can consider this is the smallest group. So in this way, we understand the materiality, both materialities and mentalities are arising in the group. So the process of the groups become our body and mind. So we understand our body. This is the process of materiality comprising the group, continuity of the group, which consists of 8 ultimate natures, at least. So sometimes more than that, the 9 or 10 or 11 or like this. And also here, the group of mentality can expand up to the 39, I think there are 39, including the consciousness. So in this way, the process is understood as our mind in daily life. But actually, if we focus on the meditative mind carefully, and we see the process arising, then passes away, another one arises, passes away like a river. So in the river, the waters are flowing. But when you sit on the bench and just see the current of the river, you just see the water, like immovable, not moving. But actually, the water you see is moving around, moving to downstream, no returning. So in the same way, the process of materialities and the process of mentalities are running in the process of arising and passing away all the times. But because the speed of moving is very fast, we think this is it, the body is it, and the mind is it. But actually, they are not is it, and they are arising in the process. Okay, this is how the mentality and materiality as considered as the ultimate reality arise. So in this slide, I want to introduce the context and the Abhidhamma and how they arise in actually condition. So let's move on to introduce about the text. So if we study the Abhidhamma, we have to have the specific text. So as a basic text, and we will refer to the Abhidhamma text itself. It is written by the Acharya Anuruddha, so between 10 and 11 and 80. So this type of commentary, this is this book is considered as a commentary, but that commentary is very concise version, so very small. So if you study the Abhidhamma in the Pali, Abhidhamma in Pali language, it's very small, but it comprises the necessary information for the Abhidhamma basis knowledge. So it's called compendium also. So this the book is written in the Pali language. So it is translated by different translator, and the compendiums of philosophy translated by Ushrisan Al, this and Rand Davis. So this the published by the Pali Society, so very old version. And Manual of Abhidhamma, translated by Nadara Mahatira from Sri Lanka. And Also, the last version is Comprehensive Manual of Abhidhamma by Venerable Bhikkhu Bodhi. So now we will read first the Comprehensive Manual of Abhidhamma written by the Venerable Bhikkhu Bodhi. Okay. So in his translation of Comprehensive Manual of Abhidhamma, Venerable Bhikkhu Bodhi say about the Abhidhamma Sangha like this: all the theoretical analysis of mind and matter. Finally, and converges upon the practice of meditation. So here, not only analysis of mind and matter, practice of meditation, and also that practice reach to the attainment or supreme goal of Buddhism, which is called Nibbana. And so liberation from the mind by non-clinging. So after studying the Abhidhamma Sangha text, you will understand the analysis of mind and matter, and also how to connect your understanding, how to integrate your understanding in your practice of meditation, and up to the attainment of Nibbana, the supreme goal of Buddhism, you can develop your meditation. That's why this is very, let's say, the forceful encouragement for the learner written by the Venerable Bhikkhu Bodhi. So, okay, taking this encouragement, and let's continue to the Abhidhamma text. So now, this is the base we call the Abhidhamma Sangha. Then, let me introduce about the Abhidhamma Sangha to understand or to have the proper initial knowledge. So, this Abhidhamma Sangha comprised of 9 chapters. So 9 chapters. So then in 9 chapters, the author explained the enumeration or counting of the Abhidhamma, content of the ultimate realities, and also give the detailed analysis and concise notes explanation. Chapter 1 chapter, we will see it. The first chapter, the former 6th chapter, you emphasize on the enumeration and detailed analysis of Paramata, Citta, Cittasika, Rupa, and also Nibbana. So the chapter 1, which is called the Citta Kanda, is the compendiums of consciousness. It classifies consciousness into 89 types, and also enlarged is 121 types when the supramundane consciousness are multiplied by the jhana. So it becomes the 121. We will see what are they. And in the second chapter, the compendiums of mental factors explain the enumeration of the 52 mental factors. So there, the 52 mental factors are explained in the group. And also it defines between relationship between the consciousness and mental factors by 2 ways, by 2 methods. The first method is called the Sampayoga Neya, and the method of association. And the second method is called Sangaha Neya, the method of combination. The method of combination. And in the Sampayoga Neya, the association method, and it finds how many consciousness arise with specific mental factors, like this. And in the Sangaha Neya, how many mental factors arise the specific consciousness. So they will be explained in second chapter. We will discuss and we will learn how they arise the mentalities. Although we understand the consciousness arise together with mental factors, and also mental factors arise together with consciousness, I still need to know the which consciousness and what type, how many mental factors arise together. in order to identify. In the process, when you observe the mind also in the meditation, the meditator understands what is conscious now, the function of consciousness, just to aware to the object. And what are the manifestors? How they work? So pointing off of the observing, identifying their characteristic, oh, this is the context, this is the perception, etc. So in this way, the meditator can find out and so can make conclusion, oh, this consciousness, how many manifestors arise. That is why this consciousness can be regarded as this type. So the knowledge of Abhidhamma, the classification of Abhidhamma can come up even in the meditation. Okay, so the third chapter, the companion of Marcellinus, explain the ultimate reality of consciousness and manifestor into different types, different categories. For example, the roots, hetu. So some consciousness and manifestors arise without roots. They are called the rootless consciousness. Some with one root, they are called the ekahetuka. So they have the roots, but only one. And the other have two roots. They are called the dvihetuka. And some has three. They are called tihetuka. So in this way, the classification comes as a companions of roots. Or another one come with the feeling. So classify according to the feeling. Consciousness and manifestors are classified. So this is the feeling of happiness, with the happiness or with the pleasure, displeasure, or equanimity, etc. Then function. So when the consciousness arises, they perform the specific functions. For example, unconsciousness. Unconsciousness, when it arises, it performs the function of seeing. It's called their consciousness is unconsciousness. It performs the function of seeing. In the same way, when the ear consciousness arises in your mind based upon the ear door, at that time, it performs the function of hearing. That's why you hear. In the same way, the smelling, etc., there are different types of function. Altogether, 14 functions are performed by the different consciousness. So there, in the compendiums of function, it is mentioned. Then another one is door. There are six doors. So through the six doors, the objects come into the mind, touch into the mind. Then the different types of consciousness arise. That's why studying about the door also important. So through the eye door, the visible form come into mind, and the seeing consciousness arise. Eye consciousness arise, performing the seeing function. And base. So without the base, the object also cannot give rise to consciousness. In order to give rise to specific types of consciousness, there must be base. They are called Vuttu. So the object of visible form and our eye sensitivity as a base. So eye sensitivity performed as a base of the eye consciousness. So receiving the visible form, when it's coming into in the process, then it is received by the eye sensitivity as it is phase. Then the eye consciousness arises. Then performing the function of seeing, we can see. In this way, in order to give the more information about the arising of consciousness and manifestors in respective condition, chapter 3 explains 6 categories. Then chapter 4 is explore the nature of mentalities usually emphasizing mentality in the cognitive process, which is called Chitta Viti in Pali, Chitta Viti, the process, cognitive process. The different types of cognitive process will be explained in your daily life, how they arise, in your meditation, how they arise, and how the meditator attain his successful condition in meditation, and by which cognitive process is explained. So chapter 4 about the cognitive process, and chapter 5 the free flow or the consciousness that's out of the cognitive process, the moment of the first time arising in the life, which is called patisandhi, and the last moment, which is called chuti, death moment. So birth moment and death moment are not included in the cognitive process. And also between two processes of seeing, for example, seeing and hearing, they are not arising in the same process. It means that between these two processes, there must be some movement. They are called the bhavanga. So three types of the patisandhi, the first moment, chuti, the last moment, and bhavanga. They are out of the cognitive process. They were explained in the fifth chapter 5. Chapter 5, it is the cognitive passive flow. It's called the passive flow, the Vitimutta. And also it will give more information about the different types of plane of existence, and different class of individual, etc. But because these informations are important, we will study first. We will study this information before we continue to the classification of consciousness, etc. And sometimes it explains about the gamma, how many types of gamma, and what are the results and how they relate. So very interesting topics are explained in chapter 5. Then the chapter 4, the compendium of matter, explain the enumeration about the 28 types of materialities, making a smaller group, different group, and enumerate 28 materialities. And also define their classification in different way, and also the mode of origination, and that there are 4 origination of the materiality. So gamma, chitta, utu, ahara. So they were explained in the chapter 6. And also the process in the different realms of existence will be explained. So in how many types of materiality can be found in the human realms or Deva realms or Brahma realms, like this. So the process also will be explained according to the moment. So patisandhi at the moment of the lifetime. And finally, the chapter 6 will conclude with a short explanation about Nibbana in order to complete the 4 ultimate reality. So in former chapter 6 cover all ultimate reality in classification. And then the chapter 7, it explains the ultimate realities in different ways, making the different categories in order to relate the Sutta teaching. So Sutta teaching, the ultimate reality are not coming up as the name of the consciousness or mental fetter, etc. But in the Sutta, it comes up with the 5 aggregates or 12 bases, ayatana, or 18 elements, and also the 4 foundations of mindfulness, etc. So the usage, the group of usage for ultimate reality found in the sutta. But if we don't study Abhidhamma and sutta connection, sometimes we cannot get the specific meaning of the sutta. So after understanding Abhidhamma and sutta relationship, so by which Buddha refers to that ultimate reality in this way. And the sutta teaching become more meaningful when you listen again and when you hear the specific usage in the sutta, and you automatically understand about the ultimate reality and in connection with the Abhidhamma teaching. So the 7th chapter explains about the different categories. And for the 8th chapter, so it explains about the conditionality. So I should say that every conditional reality arises their condition. So there must be relationship, specific relationship between the conditional things and conditional realities. So between two things. So it explained by two ways. The first method is the method of dependent arising, which is very popular method, paticca samuppada. Even in the different tradition, widely accepted this method of paticca samuppada. And the second one is the last book of Abhidhamma teaching, which is called Patthana. The method of Patthana explained by 24 conditional relation forces. So 24 conditional relation forces are hetu paccaya, aramana paccaya, etc. And also at the end of the chapter 8, it mentioned about the different types of the concepts, paññādhi. Paññādhi here also not left behind, introduced already. Then the chapter 9. So after understanding the ultimate reality and different categories to connect with the sutta teaching, then understanding the relationship between conditioning system, then it is time to meditate. So it is time to meditate. That is why the Acharya Anuruddha conclude his book with the meditation session. So the meditation is learning about the ultimate reality through our own experience. So he explained the samatha meditation, concentration meditation, and also vipassana meditation, insight meditation, and introducing 40 types of meditation object, meditation subject, or we can say the meditation subject, 40 kammatthana in brief. So if you want to read them, and you can read the Visuddhimagga. So if you want to read in brief, and you can read in the chapter 9 of the Abhidhamma Sangaha. Then he encouraged by showing step-by-step development in meditation. So about their object, about the meditative mind, how they are in the stage in the progress of meditation. And also explain about the enlightened individual to show the results. So practicing meditation, one can become the enlightened person, or one can become the person who attained the jhana. And also he explained the process, how the attainment of past knowledge and future knowledge remove the mental defilements to promote an individual up to the level of noble person. He explained the process. So we can identify through the text, this is the practical way, not a theory, not only a theory, just the practical way we learn and we can also practice. So keeping this encouragement inside, we can continue our Abhidhamma teaching up to the end so that we can have our own guides. You know that everybody needs their guidance from the teacher when they meditate. After having the proper understanding of Abhidhamma, one can practice by himself or herself, keeping this information as a guide. So sometimes we may have the difficulties. This is the conditional difficulties. They just need to consult with their teacher. Also possible need, but still the process, the way of practice, and the way of attainment already clear in the mind. So that person, that types of person may not be taken wrong way because of understanding Abhidhamma. Okay, so as a final part, let's continue to talk about the literature, commentaries of Abhidhamma. So just introducing this one. Sometimes the beginners or seeing these literatures and books written in Pali, think the Abhidhamma is as a very difficult text. But actually, we don't need to complete everything, every books. So just keep the necessary information. Okay. So starting from the Maha-Atthakatha, these are profound teaching. As the Buddha's profound teaching need more explanation. That's why the senior teacher, they wrote the commentary. The first commentary is called the Maha-Atthakatha, but now difficult to find. And we cannot find the original one. We can just find the version translated by the Venerable Buddhaghosa into Pali, translated into Pali. So the Maha-Atthakatha written in there, Sanharis, but now there's no more text find in Pali. Now we can find the Pali is translated by the commentator, well-known commentator of Venerable Buddhaghosa. So these are Attasalini, the commentary of Dhammasangani, the first book of Abhidhamma. The commentary is called Attasalini. And the second commentary of Abhidhamma text, second book, is Samoha Vinodani. And the last commentary include the other 5 texts of Abhidhamma. That is called Panchapakarana Atthakatha. So 3 commentary books for the 7 Abhidhamma texts, but it's still difficult to read them by yourself. That's okay, just keep the name and the number of books. Okay, no problem. Then it comes after the commentary ages, come to the sub-commentary ages. So still the usage and explanation are not so clear for the people because many years later, the people's understanding changing, the level of understanding changing. That's why being afraid of misunderstanding, the teacher wrote the sub-commentary to explain the text in the Mula itself and also commentary. So they are called the Mula Tika of Venerable Ananda, and Anutika it explains the text of the Mula Tika. So written by the Venerable Dhammapala. These are written in the Sri Lanka, and here another sub-commentary. I would like to introduce this one, especially because this is called the Abhidhamma Vibhavinitika, a sub-commentary of the Abhidhamma Sangha. Because Abhidhamma Sangha, it's the types of commentary. So we can consider Abhidhamma Vibhavini as sub-commentary. So that was written by the Venerable Sumangala Sami Mahathera, Sri Lankan Bhikkhu. So in Myanmar, it is well known as the Tika Jaw. In the Bhikkhu examination system, it is one of the subjects, Tika Jaws, or famous Tika. And the Venerable Lady Sayadaw criticized many aspects contained in the Abhidhamma Vibhavani Tika. So he wrote the Paramattha-tipani. So this is the books, Paramattha-tipani, written by the Venerable Lady Sayadaw, pointing out more than 300 mistakes. He says the mistakes, they are mistakes. So made by the Abhidhamma Vibhavani Tika. So they have become argument. And later, the scholar from the side of Abhidhamma Vibhavani, they defense, they are not mistake like this, but actually they are already criticized by the many scholars. Abhidhamma Vibhavani is full of mistakes, but still we continue learning. So it doesn't matter, the mistake will come, and then later for study on the Abhidhamma text, and then you can understand why they say this one is mistake and why they say this is not mistake. Okay. Don't consider a lot about the Abhidhamma literature. Okay, here what the Venerable Lady Sayadaw say is it is full of grammatical mistake and logical and philosophical mistakes. Okay, so and later after understanding the Abhidhamma Sangha text, and if you continue about the Vibhavani and Paramattha-tipani together, and you will see, and you can discuss in advanced level. Okay, so today I'm going to stop here my explanation. So let's continue to the question and answer session. If you have a question, and we can discuss.